Sunday night, Southern California. The weather's super, super nice. It is summertime, y'all. I know in the midst of everything we go through, it's amazing that we are halfway through June. And guess what's going to be next? July is going to be next. And then August. So we are doing these Tim Storey Lives, and it is conversations that are bringing change. And everybody is so excited about all these guests we're getting. So somebody in the business asked me last week, how are you getting all these guests? Well, number one, I just run with brilliant people, and brilliant people know other brilliant people. And so it doesn't stop tonight. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers. And a powerful father does three things. He guides his family, he guards his family, and he governs his family. And I just want to say this to you, for some of you that did not have a father, I love what the Bible says, that God becomes the father to the fatherless. So even though some of us lost our fathers early, mine passed away when I was 10, is that God is with us, man. God is our father. And some of you ladies that are watching, you played the role of the husband and the wife, but God graced you to do so. But happy Father's Day. And to you that are watching all around the world, give us a shout out right now on where you're watching from. And this is how the viewership goes. There'll be many, many people that will watch throughout the live and then into tonight, and a lot in the morning. And then also you're going to just start seeing the numbers go up the next couple of days. And the numbers will go about 120,000 people that actually watch, not just people to just look for a second. But some of these have gone as high as 200,000 people, and it's getting the attention of many, many people. So we've got about 3 people that are talking to us about doing a show with this Tim Storey Live, because it's that expensive. I'm just here in my office, and we have a team of people that help me with this. Shout out to Joseph Mendoza, does a great job helping. Shout out to Derek, who helps with so much of the artwork, to Drew, who does so much in the photography and editing, to my own son, Isaiah, who's helping with so many areas in putting this production together, even with research. So we do it with a smaller team and get a whole lot done. All right. So up front, we've got 2 friends of mine. One is James Barbour. For nearly 3 years, James Barbour starred as the Phantom in Broadway's longest running musical, The Phantom of the Opera. He also starred on Broadway in A Tale of Two Cities. And so he was in that, Beauty and the Beast, and on and on and on. So he was in about 9 Broadway shows. James recently won the LA Ovation Award for Best Actor in a Musical for his portrayal of Jean Valjean in Les Miserables, which I've seen that play, I think, 8 different times. He also is the president of Laughing Dog Media and Ted McGrath Productions, okay? And so doing amazing things. They're currently producing the feature film Good Enough, scheduled to begin filming very, very soon. So James Barbour is a phenom at what he does. Let's welcome to Tim Storey Live, James Barbour.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, how much do you love this Tim Storey Live thing?
Oh man, I watch him, man.
See, and I think that's so cool that you watch.
I get inspiration from you as always, my friend. Come on, you're my coach.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you for about 2 minutes, and I'm going to bring on Gerald Washington.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the business, but don't be in a hurry. It's Father's Day.
I'm chilling, man.
Tell the people how many children you have.
I have 2 amazing daughters, and changed my life, as it does for all parents. And in fact, we were out to dinner tonight, my wife and my 2 kids, with Danelle Delgado, who sends her love.
Yeah, she's a brilliant lady. Hi, Danelle.
Yeah. And yeah, it's incredible, man.
So you enjoy it. So
Yeah.
you were on Broadway, moving and shaking.
Mhm.
And then I saw you in a play in another city, which was like, wow, that play was great too.
Yeah.
And like anybody, your industry's been hit a little bit by COVID-19.
Yeah.
But in the
pretty hard.
midst of that, one thing I like about you, James, you're always up to something. You're creating something. You're always creating something. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that that is the benefit of our society and us as beings, is that the constant need to create is within us. And I think if we sit stagnant, we kind of go the other way. So
Yes.
it's been my my passion during this time, because, as you said, the industry has been hit massively hard. I mean, everybody I know is out of work. Everybody.
Yes.
And so you have to create in those times. You have to expand rather than contract.
All right, let's bring on Gerald Washington. Bring on Gerald Washington, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. The phenom, Gerald Washington. And as Gerald's coming on, man, you rascal. I knew you were going to look good tonight. It's not your fault. Blame your parents.
Right.
All right, so Gerald wrote a book, Don't Just Start a Business, Build an Empire. So Gerald, I've been bragging about you all week, man. You're an empire builder. And look at James Barbour over there, man. I mean, because Gerald, we can do some things, but we can't sing like James can on Broadway, can we?
Not at all. Not at all.
So tell me what you envy about his great singing.
that I can't serenade people and make an extra check.
I'll teach you. I'll teach you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Gerald. So we've been bragging about you all week, but give us a couple of the shows that you've been producing or executive producing in the last few years. So even though we've been putting it out there on social media, let them understand a little bit.
Yeah, so I executive produced a show called Family Feud, Celebrity Family Feud, the Steve Harvey Show, a show called Little Big Shots, Man Cave, Showtime at the Apollo, Little Big Shots Forever Young, New Year's Eve Live on Fox.
Yeah. That's a lot of shows, Gerald. Now, James, let me tell you one thing I love about Gerald. When he would take me on the lot in NBC, man, he had his own golf cart, but it had his name on it. That was the first time in like 2 years I got jealous.
Now I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
There you go. Thank you.
I mean, I could be around Denzel Washington and not be jealous of his looks. Stevie Wonder, not be jealous of the fact that he could play piano and sing like that. But that golf cart thing got to me. I said, doggone it, I want a golf cart. All right, Gerald, we're going to talk with James. Let's go at it. We got a lot of creatives out there, okay? And so when people found out that you'd be on, we give people a chance to ask questions. And so I'm going to throw some questions at you guys that you guys are going to enjoy. And so first one is to Gerald Washington. And the question is, when did you realize you're going to be Gerald Washington? And I like that question. Was there ever a time when you knew, man, I think I might got it. I may have it. Tell me about that.
Yes, I started this empire building thing in high school, and identifying ways in which I can make money, because I didn't want to catch the bus or have my father drive me to school. So I wanted a car. Mm-hmm. And enterprising my way through high school and selling candy and getting my jobs gave me the opportunity to buy my first car, which then allowed me to make more money. But I was always a leader, you know, whether it was on the football team as a captain or whether it was in the student body as one of the executive student body for school. That transferred to college, and then from college to the companies that I opened with my wife and throughout business. So I saw it in high school because others would tell me, how are you making money? How did you buy your car? How did you identify a way in which you wouldn't have to ask your parents for clothes for Christmas, things like that. So I think for me, it started then, Tim.
See, but you just said something, and I think, James, you picked up on that. Watch. He was a leader in other things. So you were a leader in sports, you were a leader in high school, and then you just built on that leadership.
Yeah.
So James, when he was saying that, what was going through your mind when he was talking about building on leadership?
Well, it's interesting. It's you know, when I was coming up, when I was in high school, I went through varying schools, and I was the kid that was picked on. I was the kid that was beat up. I was the kid that was like, I used to call it the king of the geeks. You know, I would stand up for people. And because I stood up, I would get beat down. You know, like those that weren't doing it for themselves, I became sort of like that, hey, you can't do that. And then I got the wrath. And what it did for me was, you know, my whole life I realized I was living for other people, right? I was helping other people. But I started to second guess my own choices. And what I realized is that when someone said that I couldn't, you'll never, I always would go, okay, watch me.
Wow.
And I would use that almost, you know, it was almost in a detrimental way, you know, because I was doing it not to say I want to do this for me. I was doing it to prove others wrong. And but it was sort of the same, I think the same motivation that Gerald was talking about is because I didn't want to be the also ran, you know, the term also ran, you know, horse race, first, second, third, they make the money, and the also ran, and coming in fourth is the also ran. And I felt like I was the also ran. And I saw so many also rans and people thinking of themselves that way. And I didn't want that for people. So I used that as a motivation to move me forward. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. Gerald, let's talk about first break. What was the first bigger break that you got in entertainment? Because you had other breaks, because me and you were friends, you hustled, made things happen. But first pretty big break in entertainment, which one was that one?
I think that was when Chris Abrego, CEO of Endemol.
Yeah.
I was negotiating a contract for Steve Harvey to now have a production company, because at that point it was all kind of hired a gun, getting on stage, performing in an exceptional way, getting a nice check. But now it's time to own. And Chris Abrego took a chance not only on Steve, but on me as the president of the new production company, to now start this brand that would build content with Steve not having to be on stage. So Chris Abrego pretty much gave me one of my biggest breaks in entertainment.
So here's what I think is interesting. When you got the break, did you feel like I can do it? Or did you feel like, man, I got this break, but I don't know if I could pull it off?
Yeah, I was scared. And the fear was because the unknown was in front of me. Right, I'm a businessman. I was not a television executive at that point. So I had to hone on my business skills, but also the leadership qualities and the ability to now identify those around me who did have the skill sets that I didn't, and come together and develop something amazing. But it was fearful.
See, I love your honesty in that, because what happens is that when people read your bio now, it's pretty mind-boggling.
Right.
And you know that I get to be around Quincy a lot and around the Barry Gordy's of life. And James, I've told Gerald many times, he's next. The guy is just at that level. It's going to be crazy. But it's not just in America, it's worldwide.
Yeah.
But I like that, Gerald, you're being so honest with us tonight, that when you got there, you wondered at times, like, do I have it? Okay.
Yeah, and you don't want to disappoint, right? You know, not only yourself, but those who've taken a chance on you. And then I'm a young man at that point. I was 32, maybe 33, and now you're going into this marketplace with all these gentlemen who've been here for 40 and 50 years, or 20 and 30 years, and the conversation's like, I got a little more to prove, you know, so we can't mess this up.
Yeah. So James, I'm going to ask you a different question, and here's the question: when you play Phantom on Broadway, and you see the person who wrote Phantom, and you see the legacy of someone who played that role of yours.
Yeah.
And then when you'd have some of these mega stars come in the back room to then meet you, Okay. What were some feelings that would go through your mind of, whoa, this
Yeah.
actually happened to me? The same guy that was being ridiculed as a kid, and now mega stars, the biggest stars in the world, were coming to see that play and then wanting to meet you after.
Yeah.
Give me some feelings.
Same thing. Look, it was my 9th or 10th Broadway show. You know, we've talked about this. In 39 years, I've been in front of over 200 million people live. You know, by the way, incidentally, talk about full circle. My first Broadway show was produced by Joop van den Ende, who was one of the founders of Endemol. How about that? Amazing guy. So that, for me, that feeling of like, I know what I can do, but, you know, here's Andrew Lloyd Webber in a room who wrote this show. And I still think, like, what am I doing? Like, it's almost like there's two feelings. There's this, yeah, this is my life. I've worked hard to get here, and these are my peers in many ways. But then there are people that are coming that I'm like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this person's coming. And there is that still, have I done enough?
Yeah.
You know, people say it all the time. Like, when are they going to realize that, you know, I don't have what it takes, you know? But the truth is that we all do. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing if we didn't. So it was a double. And funny enough, this great actor, Jim Caviezel, came to see the show, who I admire. I think his work is amazing. And when I walk on stage afterwards, it's just him and his family and me, and he hugs me. And I'm going like, here's this amazing performer who I've looked at.
Great actor.
And all of a sudden he's like, and now we're friends, you know? And it's pretty amazing. But there is that, am I doing enough still?
Yeah. I want to talk to both of you about being in a moment where you just own it. And I've been talking about for years, when you get a revelation leads to conviction, that you know that you know that you know that you know. Like, I know with my life, I'm hard to beat as a comeback coach. So if somebody is in a challenge, I know I got a gift from God, but I work so hard, you guys, to really know my information as a comeback coach. So Gerald, give me a time in your life, could be just recently, that you just really had a aha moment where you went, doggone it, Gerald, this is your life. Like, this is who you are.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
You know, for me, transitioning and riding the wave of life has shown me more and more that when you come from the low points and go back to the high points, that you have it what it takes. And so for me in business, it was identifying where I wanted to go in television and film. And then it was jumping out and starting my own company, and identifying that when I did that, all those who I worked with on other shows were like, absolutely, Gerald, let's go. Whatever show you want to do, let's figure it out. Let's produce it together, whatever you don't. And so that showed me that I have it. And it was me more than it was whomever or whatever was attached to previous conversations or transactions. It was Gerald, right?
Yeah.
And being able to hop over the negotiation table and get the numbers and the money that is deserved was another thing that showed me, okay, you're a bad boy.
Yeah. All right, James Barber, give me a moment where you just thought, this really is me, man. I'm holding my own.
Yeah, it's funny, Gerald said that, you know, it's the resilience, right? It is going through those peaks and valleys. And, you know, Tim, you and I have spoken about this many, many, many times. And you know, I had this amazing brand and I crashed my brand. You know, I mean, I was just about, you know, movie at Tribeca, series, all this kind of stuff, and the brand crashed. And I had to build it back. And I had to build it back by myself. I mean, there were people around me, but, you know, at the end of the day, it is the work that we put in, not only exteriorly, but interiorly, that gets it back. And I had a plan, and I, one step at a time. And eventually, I ended up doing that show,
Yeah.
which was going to be 1 year, then 2 years and 3 years. And I know the resilience that I have. I know that I can take something that I can do and make it real. And just like Gerald said, there are those people that are like, okay, it's time. Good. And then the next thing you know, those people around you that have been with you for years that really understand and know who you are, they're coming on, and there's a team, and then you're going.
Oh yeah.
So that to me was it, because I had been like, I'd been moving up and down, but at that moment when I said, okay, enough, it's up to me.
Yeah.
That was
So
it.
before we get into the deeper parts of turning your setbacks to comebacks, I want to talk about something. I think that most successful people have learned to push beyond their comfort zone. So Gerald, give me a little bit about that with you, because all I know is you're up early.
Yeah.
I'm great friends with your wife. She is a machine. She is one of the best at what she does. The Patrice Washington, just out of this world. His daughter's a phenom. And so it just kind of like runs in the family. But talk to me about pushing beyond your comfort zone, because Gerald, even while you run all these shows and everything, I mean, I'll meet with you somewhere and you're with Kevin Hart's people, then you're over here with LeBron's people. You're always up to something. Talk to me about pushing beyond your comfort zone.
I learned the hard way that you don't get what you want standing inside of the box, right? And in order to identify that next level, to build an empire versus just starting a regular business, you have to get uncomfortable. But what I tell people all the time is that as uncomfortable as it feels, if you're focused on the discomfort versus the end result that you see, then you won't make it through. And so for me, I was able to identify that if I can just keep going and think about the outcome of it, or the opportunity that's on the other end, it doesn't matter the late nights or the early mornings. It's kind of like working out. Once you get that first workout in, you're excited. And then if you don't see any results right away, you get a little fatigued. But if you keep going, and then when that body starts to change, those workouts start to feel better. And so that's what it was for me in business too. It was constantly working out.
Yeah. And I watched that you're doing that now with all your real estate endeavors and all the other companies you're running.
Yeah.
And he doesn't brag. I just know that because Gerald and I are so close, James. I go on dates with him and his wife.
Yeah.
It's a true story. They're like, aren't you going to finally find somebody? I'm like, can I go out with you guys? But about how many businesses you got rolling right now, Gerald?
We have a real estate conglomerate that we're excited about. We have multi-unit properties. We're fortunate we just sold our trucking company. So our trucking company, we just started because, like you, the studios were closed. We started a clean and protect, which is a cleaning business. Now we go into commercial properties and clean. My wife has an empire of her own, and that's a whole nother genre.
She's running an empire, boy.
Yeah. So staying busy, but being present, because that trucking company, that was one of those moments, man. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah, and Gerald's really into his kids, just like James is. James Barber's girls, they're not normal. Man, I ate a brunch with them and they had me on my toes. What's their age now, James?
11 and 8. So my 11-year-old's going to be 12 in August.
Wow.
They're on all cylinders.
Oh man.
And his wife is so gorgeous, and her background is dance. Wow. Tell everybody where she was doing ballet and all that. Yeah.
So my wife, my father-in-law, who passed away a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately, he's a retired lieutenant general in the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. So my wife kind of traveled all over the place. And my mother-in-law is the first Asian wife of a Marine Corps general. She's born and raised in Hong Kong. So my wife started dancing when she was very young. And at the age of 15, finished high school early and moved to New York on her own, went to School of American Ballet. And then Mikhail Baryshnikov handpicked her to be in American Ballet Theater. Stayed with American Ballet Theater. Baryshnikov left. My wife went to San Francisco Ballet. And then when she was there, decided, hey, you know what? I want to try something else. And they had these auditions for a Broadway show called Carousel. And she just went, I'm going to audition. And then subsequently did 5 Broadway shows, which is how we met. So an incredible incredible lady, incredible mom. And, just, you got the right person when you're going through those valleys,
Yeah.
and they're like, let's go.
She's
They're
a
right
real
behind
partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both
Do
of you
not move.
guys, man, have real partners. So
Yeah.
James, tell us about pushing through the comfort zone as far as having off nights where your throat is not responding, but yet you got to go on. Because James and I, we talk a lot, and I've talked to him, Gerald, before he was about to go do Phantom.
Yeah.
And he didn't even have a voice.
Yeah.
And those people have paid a lot of money. They've come from all over the world to watch. Talk to me about pushing through, because people need to know this. Because in the midst of COVID-19, in the midst of what's going on with all the challenges with racism, talk to them about pushing through. Like, the voice is not there. You're not there. You're feeling funky. Talk to me about the push through.
Look, it's the same thing no matter what it is, whether it's your voice. And Gerald talked about it. The funny thing is that when you're around people that do what we do, the answers are kind of the same. How did you get through this? This is what I did. And it's that resilience. There was no other choice. And, and it came from when I was a kid of like going through, there's a great actress that once had a conversation with me, and she goes, you just keep walking. The night turns into day. Eventually you'll come out of the forest. Eventually the sun will rise. And so my college mentor said to us, what audacity do you have to stand in front of 1,500 people a night and ask them at that point to pay $100 a ticket? Now Hamilton's in the thousands.
Yeah.
And it shocked me with a responsibility. And the responsibility is, this is my job. This is my profession. This is my craft. And just because I might, be tired that day, or my voice is not as on that day, it's 8 shows a week, 6 days a week, 365 days a year. It's exhausting. So there is a level where no matter, if I have zero voice, then I'm not doing a service for the show. Right.
Yeah.
But there is a level that I always maintain. And that is, no matter where it is, that is the level, because I've worked hard, just like you said, the comeback game.
Yeah.
I know my game.
And
I will never go below that, because I've gotten to a point where I just don't.
Yeah.
So you have to regroup. I have to think about the end result, like not like you want the outcome, but like Gerald was saying, is like you put your vision forward, and I work toward that vision. There may be arrows coming at you. There may be rain. There may be storms. There may be questions, but you just keep going, because you rely on what you can do. And also the responsibility I have to the people that are paying to come and see and be entertained.
Gerald, that's firing you up when he's talking. Tell me what you're thinking as James Barbour's talking.
He's preaching, for lack of a better way to say it. He's right on, knocking on my door, because he's right. You have a level of responsibility. For me, as a leader of our companies, I have a level of responsibility to not slow down, to not give up, because those that are working with me, because I don't believe anybody works for me, but those that are working with me depend on it. And they've chosen to follow my vision, so I don't get to go to sleep. I get to keeping the vision alive. So I was just co-signing everything he was saying. Yeah.
Gerald, help me with this one, and then James will work this one out.
Yeah.
The question is, are you guys running to something or from something? And let me tell you what I mean by that. I think the early success of Tim's story was I was running from something. Because we had 7 people in a 2-bedroom apartment, cramped, crowded, lower income, did not feel good. And so I started to figure out what it was going to take to get out of that feeling. So I would say the early parts of me, even going into my 30s, man, I was running from something. And that was, I did not want to be poor. I didn't want to be looked down upon. I didn't like it when people said you couldn't afford it. I didn't like it when people looked down on me and stared like I was nothing. Gerald, I remember I'd go speak somewhere, and because of racism, they put me in a real crappy hotel. And I'd let the host put me in that crappy hotel. But after they left, my butt checked out. Because I had the money.
Right.
So I didn't make a big deal about it. I just said, hi, just want you to know that I ended up going down the street but I was running from something. Gerald, talk to me about running from something at times instead of to something.
Yeah, I ran from not knowing. I ran from the life that I did. I wanted to leave back in Inglewood, California, and I ran from that aggressively.
So similar background. So James, he's from Inglewood. I was born in Compton.
Yep.
And so the whole LA thing.
Yeah. And ran from it because I never wanted the family that I was going to be blessed with for that to be the life. And truth of the matter, I didn't live a bad life, right? But in the same respect, it wasn't what I was watching. Those I went to college with, those that were around me, those that were on television.
Mm-hmm.
Their streets weren't main streets they lived on. You know, they lived in subdivisions and fences around their homes, and so I ran from that. And I ran from the social attachments that came with where I was from.
Yes.
I ran from that in order to now produce something different for my daughters.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
In the midst of that, what I do find about Gerald Washington is that you have an inward peace.
Mm.
The last time I was with you in Atlanta, you were sporting one of your fabulous hats. I'm like, this brother is living a big life, but he has peace, James. That peace is a good thing.
Oh, it surpasses all understanding, as you know better than I do, Tim. And it absolutely, that's the new wealth for me.
I see it in you, but you got a God factor to you.
Yeah.
You're into the things of God. You and your wife are.
Yeah.
All right, James Barber, talk to me about running from or to. For a minute, it seems like from, because ridiculed, called names. From or to. Talk about that.
When I was younger, I thought I was running to, but I realized that I was running from. Okay. As I got older. I was raised in an alcoholic family. It wasn't volatile. I mean, it wasn't a violent home. I mean, we were in a middle class home, and I was facing this desire, this need to be liked and accepted, and what I realized later on, because I had this exact question, I was in New York and I was walking down 98th Street and Broadway. And I was about to go, I just finished a Broadway show called Jane Eyre, based on the Charlotte Bronte novel. And I was literally walking down the street because I was putting all of my stuff in storage and I was going to go to a monastery in Thailand. Shaved the head. Wow. And I said, am I running from or am I running to? Am I running to find something or am I running away from something? This was 2001. And I had always thought that I was running to something. And it was at that moment that I realized I couldn't answer the question. And I said, if I can't answer the question, I shouldn't go because I'm going for the wrong reasons. And it shifted. And I realized up until that point, I mean, that was in my early 30s. And I had success.
Yeah.
But I was always trying to prove that I was doing something because of others rather than my own choices. And that's when it shifted.
Just so you guys know, this is one of my favorite conversations on Tim Storey Live. And we've had everybody. I mean, Tim Brown did so great with BB Winans and Deepak Chopra the other day. You guys, man, I'm loving where you're coming from. Now, James, I know a guy like you have to warm up your voice and everything. But at some point, we got 8 more minutes left because in a little while, I got to go to Sam BAKHTIAR and Coach BURT.
Yeah.
But could you sing me a little bit of something?
Yeah, man.
About 4 minutes.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay. All right. So, Gerald, help us out, man. We got dreamers out there watching.
Yeah.
Everybody wants their dream to come true. Okay. Help us out. What do they need to know? What are they missing?
Yeah.
Help us out. take about 2-3 minutes and just help us out.
Yeah. Identify your purpose first. And once you identify your purpose, we can attach a revenue model and or a business opportunity to it. But stop getting up doing the thing that you hate. Start to get up and do the things you love. Because the more often you do the things you love and you identify ways to make money in that space, then you'll do it forever, right? And it'll never become hard. A lot of times we get ourselves caught up in the fact that we do need a job. Some of us need employment, right? So you have to have a job, but that job needs to be a means to get somewhere. So I say that your 9 to 5 should fund your 5 to 9 until your 5 to 9 becomes your 9 to 5.
Wow.
So you got to go to work because you got to pay bills. You got kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that 5 to 9 opportunity needs to start to elevate itself. Let's not get trapped in a pandemic mindset. Let's not get trapped in a pandemic conversation. Let's not get trapped in a conversation where all we're doing is protesting about the bad things in our life, right? We need to now begin to elevate ourselves and move ourselves forward, and identify those things that make us progressive and that allow us to build on what we need to build on. So some people are stuck. Let's get unstuck.
James, do you see now why he runs the empire?
I do. Well, the irony is that I completely agree. Like Ted McGrath and I have started a real estate conglomerate. We're doing and this is during the pandemic, right? The pandemic.
That's right.
And we have this production company. We didn't stop. We expanded because, nothing stays the same. It either grows or it decays.
More.
It just does. And if you stay here next year, other people are going to be here. You're going to be here, and then so we grow. And I totally wholeheartedly agree with him. I mean, it's the way to go, man.
There's going to be a lot of millionaires made during this time, and I plan to be one of them.
100%.
Well, you're already rich, but I
Well,
guess
yeah,
you
no,
can get some more
an
money.
additional business would be great. Yes, absolutely.
He's so humble. He's like, I'm gonna get some money. It's like, Gerald, I know you. You have money. All right. So James,
Yeah.
how can we follow you before I'm gonna have you sing a little bit? How can we follow you? You got programs. We can connect to you. You're gonna teach us how to be entertainers. You're teaching us all kinds of things.
Yeah, well, at James Barber now, NOW, and I did that because I like to be now. I don't like to be yesterday or tomorrow. I like to live right now. So that's all my social media stuff at James Barber now.
Okay.
I'm just finishing a book called The Artist Survival Guide, which teaches artists not how to sing, dance, act. And I've been talking about this for years because it's what Gerald was saying. It's like, you got to make money. But these actors and performers and artists, they get a gig and then it stops. And then they're like, I'm done. And now, especially with what's going on, so this teaches them how to brand and market themselves as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Would.
Gerald, how do we follow you? And we're going to put all that.
So that's jamesbarber.com. Yeah, go ahead.
Finish that up. It's James Barber.
jamesbarber.com/ASG. So you'll get like a free chapter of the book if you want to do that.
We're going to put all that down. And then, Gerald, how do we follow you? And then I got to get Sam BAKHTIAR on because he's got to go somewhere.
Of course, GeraldWashington.com. At the Empire Builder GW on Instagram, and everything's there. Everything you need to know about building an empire from me.
Hey, Gerald, did you get stirred up by James Barber?
I did, man. It was amazing.
Wait till we go see him live. It's crazy.
Well, dude, it's likewise, man. Go on.
Thank you.
See, we're a community of world shakers, man. We all hang out together.
Yeah.
James, give me a little bit of something. Then I got to get Sam BAKHTIAR on. He's got to go somewhere.
You want music, you mean?
I want you to sing a little something.
Well, there's a song that I like that I've done with you, and I think it's so appropriate. It's called "Measure of a Man," and for Father's Day. So I'll do a little bit of the intro, and then we'll finish. I'll do the end. Is that all right?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
So we'll see. I'll talk the first part, and it goes like this. I wonder, is there part of me afraid to be the man I was born to be? All my life I've waited for one shining chance to be all I can and more. Am I the fool who dreamed what might have been? Or here and now, do I begin? There comes a time when the measure of a man is taken, There comes a time when at last you stand alone. Right or wrong, wrong or right. Now's the time to believe in myself and try. For all those dreams yet to be dreamed. For all those hopes to be redeemed. For all those things much greater than the measure of a man. For all those things much greater than the measure of a man.
If I could do that, I'd be a billionaire.
I'll teach you, man. I'll split it with you.
Woo!
Woo!
It's on Broadway.
Amazing.
I love you
Thank
both.
Thank
The
you.
James Barber, the Gerald Washington.
Thank you, sir.
We'll see you guys soon.
All right.
You get it.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Let's put on Sam BAKHTIAR. Sam BAKHTIAR. He's a doctor, CEO, author, world-class bodybuilder. Runs over 110 locations of transformation centers. He is a world shaker, history maker, great friend of mine, a friend who's always there. Sam, those guys were fire, right?
They are crazy, man. I mean, gosh, man. James Boyce, Gerald, oh my God, those guys are fire, man. Now you're gonna put me after them. Now, what are you gonna? Oh my God, man, I got a big shoes to fill up right now.
Okay, so Sam's a personal friend. Sam and I are family. I really mean this. I feel like if I ever was in trouble, Sam would be one of the two guys in the world I would call. I'm not even joking. We're that close. He's a real brother. Mega, mega, mega success. I had the privilege to do his wedding with his beautiful wife. And man, I'm just so proud of you, Sam. Give me a takeaway you got from either James or from Gerald, because you were listening. What was the takeaway?
Both of them, man, is like, look, you know, they've both been knocked down. They both didn't have the perfect cards in life dealt with them. But they took whatever cards that was dealt with them and they persevered and they made something out of themselves. And if you talk to them, they both are always achieving for that next level. They're achieving for that next excellence. They don't let the past define them.
Wow.
And that's what the champions do. You know, that's what the champions do. You know, your past doesn't define you. You can't live in the past. If you live in the past, that's where depression lives. You can't change the future, because if you live in the future, that's where anxiety lives. What those guys do, they understand that they can't change the past, they can't predict the future, they win one day at a time. And if you win enough days, you're gonna win the week, then you're gonna win the month, then you're gonna win your life. And that's what life is all about, Tim. That's what you taught me.
I love that. Okay, so Sam, help us out a little bit. Tell us about what you're up to now, because it's large scale. Joseph Mendoza and I were talking about you yesterday. I feel like you have taken everything to another level, which to me, that was going to be something else because you were pretty high already. But even in the midst of COVID-19, not just social media, but just everything you're doing is just next level. Give us a few of the businesses you're running. You have these transformation centers. Tell us how many, tell us what you're doing. Give us a little bit on the business side of
You know, I'm the CEO of the CAM Transformation Centers. I'm the co-founder. You know, we now have over 110 locations. We're an international franchise. You know, we are, I'm a CEO of Myo Sport Nutrition, CEO of 1% Nutrition, CEO of Fitness Concepts. You know, those are some of the things that I'm doing. But what I'm doing lately that I'm truly is fulfilling me now, you know, is over the past decade, even though my gyms have impacted hundreds of thousands of people, you know, we changed lives, we transform people's, you know, through physical exercise, then transform their life. Because once you feel good, once you're healthy, every aspect of your life changes from that. It has changed it for me. You know, it has made so much difference in my life. And so I wholeheartedly believe that once you start feeling good, looking good about yourself, everything else falls in line. You know, but for the past decade, I haven't been doing anything one-on-one with people.
Yeah.
So I missed that one-on-one dynamic. Like back in the day when I was just getting started, it was just, you would come to my gym, Tim, and I would sit down with you, come up with a plan. I would text you, I would talk to you, I would mentor you myself. And I haven't done that in such a long time. And now I'm bringing it back because I enjoy actually, taking one person and seeing them transform directly, not indirectly from that makes my heart so happy. So I'm doing more business coaching. I'm doing more lifestyle coaching, and that really, really, even though, it's really not my main thing, that brings revenue for me, but I love it because I feel like my heart is happy.
I see that. I see a lot of joy in you right now. And I see a lot of peace. I see how you put your family first. And tell us how we can coach with you or how we can watch your podcast, which I do believe your podcast is becoming one of the best in the world. I mean, you've interviewed the best people, but how do we watch your podcast? How do we coach with you?
Well, the One Percenter podcast is called the One Percenter podcast. You can go to iTunes, you can go to YouTube, search Sam BAKHTIAR and you see all my podcasts there. If you want to coach with me or you want my advice on something, you can do it 2 ways. Send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook, or you can just text me at 909-200-4015.
Okay. So what I want to do tonight, you got about 15 minutes. And the great thing I love about Sam is he's always going from one thing to the next. Is when we get to eat dinner together, we have great conversations, man. So let's pretend we're at dinner, and what's on your mind? I so trust you as a leader. I want you to talk to all these folks that are watching. And another thing I want to say, thank you for sponsoring this Tim Storey Live so many times, because we'll have about 150,000 to 180,000 that will really watch this by the end of the day. And you help with this many times. But what's on your mind?
And first of all,
talk to us.
First of all, you've been there for me at my darkest times. Every time I'm going through something, like you said, I can call you, you're there for me, you meet with me right away, you drop everything to be with me. You're one of those guys that I don't have to talk to every day, that I know you always got my back. And that in this day and age is unheard of. I was just talking to someone else about you, just this morning, and I told him the same thing, bro. So I appreciate that, and I love you for that. And thank you for being one of the few genuine people left in this world. Now, let's talk about what's going on in the world, right? Look, I've said it publicly that the last recession in 2008 literally, put me into depression for a few weeks. I didn't know what to do. I almost lost everything. And I told myself, and I prayed to God, and I said, God, if you get me out of this, I will never put my family in jeopardy. I will never make sure that anybody will ever come put a note on my house. They're going to evict my house because I missed the payment. I mean, God, just get me through this. Mm-hmm. And so I was ready for a COVID-19, a recession, or anything like that. I was ready, And for people who are going through some craziness right now, we're going through a turmoil, both with the COVID-19, both with, with everything with Black Lives Matters and all the riots and everything. But I want you guys to understand this. This is one thing I learned in the 47 years of my life, and life has its seasons. Just because you lost one game, that doesn't mean you lost your whole life.
Very good.
There's a whole season. There's a whole season when the Lakers, when the Rams, whatever your team is playing, just because they lost a couple of games, that doesn't mean that they're going to give up the whole season. There's still so much left. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you're going through what I went through in 2008, if you're going through that, man, don't give up. Don't give up. Okay? Here's what you have to do. Put a plan together. Stick to the plan. Some days you're going to come in defeated. I came home between 2008 and 2013 for 5 years, Tim. I came home, I was defeated. I couldn't get nothing going. I almost lost everything. I did lose everything, and my credit score went down to 500, foreclosure on the house, wow. Almost went to bankruptcy, minus $314 in the bank account. We were pregnant with our first child. I had nothing in the bank. I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to feed this kid? And you know what, man? I was like, I just got up and I went to work. I just got up and went to work. I just got up and went to work. And I just got up and went to work. And nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. All of a sudden, 2014, I started seeing light at the end of the tunnel. I started, oh, something started to move. And something started to move. I'm like, oh my God, I'm seeing, I'm getting myself out. I'm getting myself out of this mud. I'm going to finally get out. And then guess what? Boom, boom, I got served with divorce papers, Tim. I was like, all of a sudden, now I find myself, this is 7 years ago, Tim. 7 years ago, I was in a hotel room, being 40 years old, just got out being broke as a joke. I was still broke, but I was broke as a joke before, in a hotel room in Chino Hills, $70 a day. I did it for a month, stayed there for 4 months, crying every night. God, why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? And I remember crying one night in that hotel room, and I said, Sam, what are you going to do now? All this negative self-talk. Sam, you're a loser. You're going to be just like your dad that didn't do anything. You lost your family. What are you going to do? And at that time, Tim, I came up with 3 things how I want to spend my time. 3 things. Other than saving God and being a good person, I was like, the way I'm going to spend my time every day is, 1, I'm going to be with the family as much as I can. And when I'm not with the family, I'm going to provide for the family.
Yep.
And when I'm not doing that, I'm going to stay healthy so I can keep doing 1 and 2. So every hour and every minute of my day was these 3 activities. Spend time with the family, provide for the family, and stay healthy to 1 and 2. So I became a beast. So literally from 4 a.m. till 10 p.m., this is what I did. This is what I did. And I came in, and that was the beginning of us. At that time, Tim, we had 8 locations. 8 locations. 6 years ago, 7 years ago, we had 8 locations.
Yep.
Fast forward now, we have 110 plus locations. See, God sometimes pushes you where you don't want to go.
Powerful. Keep going.
Because God has better plans and bigger plans that you can see. There's so many times in my life, I'm like, God, why me? Why me? Because you can't see it, but God can see it. It's not your time. It's not a good time. It's God's time. You taught me that.
Woo.
You taught me that. So now, when the COVID-19 happened, now that all my gyms got shut down, we got shut down for 3 months, Tim, 0 revenue coming. I haven't made a penny in the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
But you know what I say to myself? You know what? God got a plan. I've gone, look, man, I survived being bombed on for 8 years as a kid, being born in a 3rd world country. I survived my dad leaving me at 3 years, when I was 3. I survived getting bullied, getting, being called names, being discriminated when I came to America when I was 11 years old, living in the middle of nowhere, America. I survived, so much. I survived a recession. I survived bankruptcy. I survived foreclosures. Guess what? And I will survive COVID-19. And everybody that's going through this, guess what? You know what? You will survive. You will survive. Here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line.
So powerful.
Here's the bottom line. When things are good, they're not always going to be good. So when the things are good, you have to prepare for this. You have to prepare for the winter season.
Yeah.
The winter is coming. Things are not always going to be good. And here's the thing. When the things are bad, you have to have faith and keep going because spring and summertime are just around the corner.
Woo! Powerful.
Yeah.
Sam, you're on fire tonight. One of the things I like about you is that no matter what you're going through, you keep your head up. I've never watched you in public like this. Where'd you get that?
Here's what I've, learned in life. Nobody has time for your bullshit.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear what you're going through and all that. They might want this and that. Look, at the end of the day, you got to solve your own problem, and you only need to talk about your problems and your issues to somebody who can help you. I'm not the one who's going to sit down here, oh my God, look at poor me, look at what happened to me, look at what she did to me, look at what they called me, oh my God, I got discriminated, I got bullied. No.
Yeah.
You get up, you put your game face on, I'm ready to play, I'm ready to win at life, I'm ready, I'm looking for my next gig. I don't got time to slow down. One of my mentors said, Jets don't have rear view mirrors. You know what I mean? I'm not too, I'm too busy moving forward, man. You might be able to knock me down one time. I'm okay. You know, but I don't got time to look backwards.
Yeah. You know, I prophesied to you. A prophecy is when you feel like you hear from God about somebody's future. And I said, you're going worldwide. And that is really what's happening. Tell the people about this. Your following is worldwide. It's not just America-wide, it's worldwide. Tell them about this.
You know what, man? I'm just blessed that I was able to make my message to something that can help a lot of people. Just blessed, just blessed. You know, in my culture, you know, you don't talk about, here's one thing about my culture. It's totally opposite of the American culture. See, the American culture, we love the underdog. We love the Rocky story. We love somebody coming from rags to riches, you know? But in where I'm from, you never tell people, oh, you're struggling. You can be poor as hell. You can be struggling, but you always put your head up and you always go like this to make your cheeks rosy so you feel like you're fine, okay? And so for me, that's going backwards against like what I was taught as a kid. Whenever I speak and I tell people we got food stamps, we live in the projects, my mom calls me the next day. I can't believe you told people that. I can't believe, Sam, you told people, we got food stamps just for 6 months we had to go through. You told people Mom, I said, I'm proud of getting food stamps. I'm proud of living in the projects. I'm proud of what I went through. I'm proud of the ghetto we lived in. I'm like, I'm not running from that. I am who I am, and I'm going to use my message. And my mom always hates that. Last week I went over her house. I can't believe you still say
that. I love that. So listen, when you follow Sam, you're going to get a lot of this every day, but you're also going to see him in the gym. Tell them about what time in the morning you're in the gym. What time?
I'm sleeping in right now. I've been sleeping in, man. I'm slacking off. So I'm going to the gym at 5 a.m. So I get up at 4 now. I'm at 47, I feel like I need an extra hour of sleep. So for years, I get up at 3. I went to 4, but I feel like I'm slacking off. So I now get up at 4. I go to the gym at 5.
And his wife's so beautiful. She's my little sister. And they got this thing, she lets him go to the gym early. But he used to be in there at 4, but he's slacking off. He's in there at 5.
Yeah.
Parting words, Sam. Life is still good, right? Help us out.
Life is good, man. I'm on my in-laws right now. You know how these Latinos do it, man. We had carne asada, pollo asada, tortas. I'm on a good one because I had a couple of micheladas. I don't really had a couple of micheladas. They're all over there partying, and there's Spanish music and all that kind of stuff. And life is good. The older I got, I realized, man, what's really important in life.
Yeah.
And what's really important in life is for you, before you kick the bucket, that you make a difference in this world. You impact as many people as possible, man. I mean, I look at you, Tim, and I just look at you and I'm like, man, you have impacted so many people, and you've done it so genuinely. I mean, everybody that comes to you, and I get people come to you, hey, Tim Storey, he's a great guy. Is he really like him? I'm like, bro, Tim is like, they can't understand because people like you, Tim, are rare. People that are just natural go-givers, and they're rare. And I want to be like you. I do. I want to be like you. I'm following your footsteps. I want to be able to be impacting as many people as I can. And, and I know once you do that, like Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. I'm not worried about that.
Sam, happy Father's Day. Thanks for taking time tonight, and say hello to your in-laws because I'm friends with them as well.
Thank you so much.
And Sam, I'm so proud of you, man. I tell you, just mark my words. In the next year, you will see so much of Sam BAKHTIAR everywhere at one time. You're a beautiful man. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you.
That was sweet of him because he's in the middle of a Father's Day get-together with his family, and I'm friends with his whole family, and they're just wonderful people. Before I bring on Coach BURT, which is going to be so awesome, Coach, just know I'm going to ask you a little bit about Pray Drive, so you get ready. I'm going to do a 2-minute commercial because how many of you have had at least a little bit of a setback in your life? Okay, all of us. So we have created the comeback pack for you. It's a USB and it opens up like this. But I'm going to make it super easy for you. And let me just tell you what's in this pack. It is the Setback to Comeback video course, which costs us a lot of money to put together. Okay, that's there. When I teach you step-by-step how to turn your setbacks to comebacks. Also a coaching manual with about 150 pages that took me 20 years to do. That course alone, I've got about $20,000 into it because I hire psychologists, psychiatrists to help put it together for me. So I've got the Setback to Comeback video series, the coaching manual, and as you see behind me, the comeback book is all on there. It is a $499 value, but I'm going to blow you away. I just say that $499, which is $500. We sell it for that on the road, and they stand in line to get it. Tonight, because there's so many people going through setbacks, I'm going to give it to you for $49. $49. Somebody say that, because I just say that. $49. Okay. So it's $499. I'm making it $49. Okay. So for the first 100 of you, we're going to make it $49. Okay. And after 100, we're not going to sell anymore. Okay. $49 is usually $499. Costs me a lot of money to put together. I'm going to give it to you for $49. It will not come like this. It is going to be emailed to you. Okay. And you're going to get it tomorrow. So I'm going to give you the comeback pack for only $49. It's usually $499 for the first 100 people. And then after that, we will be sold out. Okay. Then I'm also offering the World Shakers Network every Monday night. You dialogue with me. I'm on every Monday. Every once in a while, I got to miss because I'm doing something or on vacation. But World Shakers Network, where we take a subject, we're talking about the traits of the greats every Monday night. So that's number 2. Number 3 is the World Shaker hat. You see me rocking this? Okay. The World Shaker hat, WS. Then look what it says in the back, World Shaker. You can get the very hat that I'm wearing on my head. All the information is right there. Everybody is rocking this hat. This World Shaker fleece you cannot get. This was specially made for me. Says no panic. We're not selling it. Thank you to Go Circus for making this special white fleece for me. Today it's custom. And thank you guys for doing that. World Shaker hat, you can get that. And also the first 100 people, if I was you, come on. If you know somebody going through a setback, would you sponsor them at $49 to get this whole thing for the first 100 people? Okay, with me today is my great friend. I'm so close to him that when they just had their last baby, I sent him flowers for he and his wife. He is considered America's coach. Let's welcome to World Shakers beautiful Sunday night, Tim Storey Live, my good friend, Coach Michael BURT.
All right.
So, Coach, talk to me a little bit about, did you see a little bit of the first 2 guests?
I did, man. I've sat here and watched the entire thing tonight. It's been very, very, very enjoyable.
And you're not on a time constraint, are you?
No time constraints.
Me and you are going to take some time here.
Absolutely.
People have been waiting for you.
Good.
And my crowd doesn't leave. They do not leave. They love this. In fact, so many people that just play at a high level, they're like, Tim, I love the way you just take your time with your guests.
Yeah.
So tell me a little something you got from Gerald Washington when he was talking. What was a little something you got from Gerald?
You know, when I was listening to both of those guys, I kept having this thought of at some point in life, you leave your amateur desires behind and you make a decision to go pro. And those guys were pros. And the way they think in terms of multiple strategies, multiple flows, multiple businesses. They don't constrict and limit themselves like so many people do.
Okay.
You know, so
Love
I was inspired by both of those guys, but I kept thinking, man, here are two pros. And when you're in the presence of pros, it inspires you. You know, you mentioned that prey drive concept. One of the greatest activators of prey drive is when you're in the presence of greatness. When you're in the presence of great people, it inspires you. I've taken notes here. It inspires you to play at a higher frequency.
I like that.
And that's
Let's
what I
talk
thought about both of those guys.
Yeah, James Barber. I mean, to see what he's done, to be 9 times on Broadway, not once, 9, and play the Phantom, and to play Hurt.
Yeah.
Talk to us before I get into your interview about playing Hurt, because you understand that. The fact that he would not feel good. Sometimes I talked to him in his dressing room, and his throat was shot.
Yeah.
And he was about to go do Phantom.
Well, amateurs listen to their feelings. The true professionals do not listen to their feelings. You can't tell me that every major athlete feels like playing on Sunday.
Woo!
Every major entertainer feels like singing the same song night after night after night.
Yes.
Every actor feels like going through the scene multiple times. Like that's the difference, right? Is amateurs listen to their feelings and professionals don't listen to their feelings. When you show up to speak somewhere, the crowd doesn't care if you feel like speaking or not. They paid to see you speak. They paid you to teach them how to take a setback and make it a comeback, right? Like that's what they paid the money for. So that kind of goes back to that Go Pro. That's a big thing I'm big on with people I coach is, man, the big time people I coach just don't listen to their feelings. Just a joke, since it's Father's Day, I remember waking up one morning and telling my beautiful wife, Natalie, that I didn't know if I had it today. You know, I'm like, man, I've been on the road. I'm a little tired. I'm a little fatigued. And she rolled over at about 5:30 that morning and she said, then watch one of your videos. And the funny thing is I did watch one of my videos and I motivated my own self, right, to get going and get started. But she just
like
rolled right
Natalie.
back over.
Okay, last person, Sam BAKHTIAR. Give me something you learned from him. I thought he did great tonight.
Yeah, energy. Sam's got incredible energy. I don't know him personally,
Yeah.
but I feel like I know him through you. I could tell he's a huge advocate of people. He's humble and coachable. But I watch him support you, and I watch how people support other people because it says a lot about them.
Yes.
And he's a big supporter. And so, but what he's done with the wellness, and there's a big lesson in there to come back to your voice in life. I think many times people go out and make a certain amount of money, but then they really come back to what they love doing.
Okay, I have a lot of good questions for you. Before we go on this beautiful journey, can you take 2 or 3 minutes and give us a little bit of insight of what Coach BURT is up to right now?
Yeah, right now I'm working on a new book called Flip the Switch, which is how to activate the prey driving you for massive success. We are also working on turning that into potential, maybe reality TV show. I'm coaching.
I can see that.
I'm coaching people from all over the world. We're expanding through Monster Producer. I just finished a great boot camp at my lodge in Tennessee where we had 50 great people there that came from all over the world. It's the first really cool live event that I've done in a while. And we're doing $1 million coaching summit coming up where I'm coaching people in how to monetize their message, because so many people, 200 million Americans want to write a book. That's 81%. They have a song to sing and people to sing it to, but they just don't know how to package it and sell it. And that's kind of the transition that I made in my life from a high school basketball coach to what I do today, which is speaking, coaching, training, leading, publishing, things like that.
Yeah, and Coach BURT is the best at what he does. And I didn't say second. He is the best. X and O's to really help you go from the desire to the discipline to really make yourself know that you can execute the plan. Coach, I'm being serious. You are the best at what you do. And then tell them a little bit about what we're working on together and when that's actually going to happen.
Yeah, we've got the comeback campaign, the comeback tour, which is
comeback tour, man. Is there a perfect time for it or what?
Yeah, perfect time for that, because I've been coaching people through this entire time, Tim, and many people have had a broken spirit during this period. Many people have had broken hearts during this period. Many companies have brought me in to keep their people motivated, because the natural tendency is to start with good intention. We fall off the wagon and then we experience guilt. And that's in good times. And, and in bad times, as you know, because your whole career's been devoted really to helping people work that bounce back muscle, work that resilience muscle, you know, turn an adversity into a progress, into an acceleration. And so you and I and Sharon Lecter are doing a tour that's coming in August to Nashville, to the Lodge and Dallas, called the Comeback Campaign. And we're going to help people really, really understand the psychology of bounce back, the psychology of the comeback, the inspiration, because as you know, we need to never underestimate the need to re-enthuse people.
Yes.
And,
So-
and that's a big part of it.
I was just going to say, invest in yourself, guys. So that's Nashville and Dallas. If you're going to fly from California, fly from Florida, everything doesn't just come to you. I mean, I remember I wanted to go to overseas when I was a young guy to go to a conference, and I sold my Volkswagen. So if you got to sell something to come to Nashville or Dallas, do it. If you're in a setback and you need to come back, or your son or daughter's in a setback and need to come back, bring them to this comeback campaign with all three of us, and we're going to help change your life. Can you give them the dates again? And Joseph will make sure we put those up there.
Yeah, it's August 20th. I think August 20 and 26th.
Yes.
August 20th and the 26th. Like I said, it's going to be at my lodge in Tennessee, which is about 35 minutes outside of Nashville. It's going to be in Dallas. And that whole day is devoted to just really teaching you, if I had to sum it up, how to use adversity to accelerate progress versus stagnate your movement. I mean, big time people see adversity as an accelerator. They see conflict. I always say conflict is necessary for expansion.
Yes.
And that conflict could be internal conflict. As you know, it's not only external conflict, but some of the greatest conflicts in my life have created the greatest breakthroughs, some of the biggest breakdowns in my life. Most people don't know at 25 years old, Tim, I lost every bit of my confidence. I was clinically depressed. My own mother, who's a nurse, sent me to the doctor. I went on antidepressants while I was a head coach and one of the top motivators in the country. Couldn't get out of bed in the morning. Threw up every day because I went through a terrible breakup that I thought the woman I was supposed to marry. As a result of that breakdown, I had to break through on confidence when I wrote the book Swag, which is how to build, maintain, and protect your greatest asset. And so I like to take breakdowns, turn them into breakthroughs, and then codify how to do it so other people can experience that. I think that's really when you're helping people, when you take your breakdowns and help other people through that.
Before you help us with this idea of Pray Drive, I want to just say this about Coach BURT. He's one of the few guys that I know that is constantly saying to other people, you need to have Tim Storey speak at your conference. You know, a lot of us help each other, but Coach, all the time, man, I'm getting these calls from these people and they're saying, Coach BURT told me about you. And you're just that guy, man. I appreciate you. You're always pushing everybody up. You push your friends to the top, and you reap what you sow. That's why so much is happening for you. Really, you're at the top of your game. And like I said, you are the best at what you do. Now, are you open to helping us with Pray Drive on this
Absolutely.
on this Father's Day?
Absolutely.
Where'd you get this idea, first of all, and then just let it unfold? We got about 17 minutes left today. So just let it unfold.
I was sitting in a workshop with an obscure psychologist that's really not a psychologist, but he was in the war dog division of the Vietnam War. And he's teaching a group of people these concepts of what he called going from A to B, the subconscious mind, you know, and conscious mind. And he kept mentioning this word called Pray Drive. And he talked about a dog having a prey drive, an animal had a prey drive. And I had never heard anyone talk about it that way. And I heard that concept and I'm taking notes. And as I'm thinking, you know, my whole life has been activating a drive in people. I was a high school basketball coach, you know, for a decade. And as I was sitting there at 40 years old or somewhere around there, 39 years old, I said, man, this is what I've been doing my entire life, which is activating this drive. I believe humans have this prey drive. It is an instinctual ability to see something in the mind's eye. That's your imagination. I always ask people, where does your future live? And people get a little stumped and they go inside me. And I said, well, that actually lives in your imagination. Okay. If you know, I can't see your imagination. I can't see your future because it lives in your imagination. Right. And now the question becomes, will you become a disciple to your own future? I.e., will you be disciplined, self-discipline, discipline being a derivative of the word disciple. And so I'm sitting there listening to this and I'm like, man, humans have a prey drive, but 7 out of 10 people, maybe 8, have not activated that drive, that instinctual ability to see something and go get it. And so I took that concept and I said, man, I'm going to take this and go do something with it. I'm going to study the different motivational theories. I'm going to codify this. I'm going to take my 28 years of coaching experience and I'm going to break it down to where you can understand what are the activators in another person. And once you find those activators and you learn how to activate that and you recognize it and it's codified, man, you can, as the book's called, flip the switch.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so what is one of the reasons you said that we do not activate?
Yeah. One of the reasons, you know, I think about my own wife, Tim. My wife did drugs every day from 21 to 24. She had no direction. She had no goals. She had great Christian parents that raised her in a Christian home in a small town in Tennessee, but they never pushed her. She didn't play athletics like I did. So from 20 to 30, she kind of just wandered around in life. And her company paid for her to come to one of my workshops on a book I wrote called This Ain't No Practice Life.
Yes.
And she sat in the back corner of that book, of that workshop, and she took notes like crazy. And at the end, she came up to me and she said, nobody's ever talked to me about these things. Nobody's ever told me I had potential. Nobody's ever told me how to activate it. I need to make these decisions. And so 2 weeks later, she came back to me and said, it's time for me to get serious about my life. She quit the job she was in. She started a catering company. She went on to get in great shape and through CrossFit. And if you can see up over my shoulder, she's even written her own book called Living with a Monster, which is how you live with an obsessed person like me. Now, I tell you that because I could give you 100 examples of people that I've interacted with that did not have their prey drive activated. Yeah. She had her prey drive activated. It was dormant. It was latent. It was undeveloped. It was inside of her. But when she was exposed to something, see, that's an activator of prey drive, exposure. When I show you something, when I show you a bigger picture, when I open your mind, when I open your heart, she was exposed to a bigger way of thinking, and that activated her prey drive. Now she manages all of our real estate. Some of the companies that we coach, I've hired her to coach the women. We do couples retreats. I mean, you know, her prey drive was activated. And
it's
so
an amazing thing. And to watch her manifest even the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And yet she is really into her children. She's a phenomenal mother and then a great wife. But I could tell she's got rhythm. She's enjoying herself too, isn't she?
Yeah, she's got a rhythm. She's got a quiet confidence. She's very different than me. I'm out front. I'm in, you know, she likes to stay in the background, but she's got an incredible confidence about her. And she said something to me once when we were dating, and there was another person that, you know, seemed interested in me during that period. And I paid a little bit of attention to that person while we were dating. And I had every need in the world for her to give me a good lashing, you know, when we got home that night. But she said this to me. She said, what am I not doing that would cause you to want to pay attention to that woman? Because if there's something I need to be doing, I'm going to do it. She didn't get on to me. She said, what can I do better? Yeah. Because I want to fight for our relationship. And man, that really told me something about her, because any other person would have come home that night and let me have it. Just the fact that I paid attention to that other person. But she didn't say that. She said, what am I not doing that would even open the door for you to want to pay attention to that person? Because I see her as a direct threat to our relationship. Okay. And I thought that was so, man, it's such a strong statement.
Okay, let's turn the page on another subject that I think you're so good at, okay? A lot of people feel like they're a discount version of themselves. Like they have potential, but they're a bit of a discount version of themselves, and they're just kind of stuck. I want you to think about a student that you coached back in high school that was just stuck in a place of just being a mediocre player, and how you were able to pull the greatness out of that player?
Yep.
Okay? Because there's a lot of great people that are stuck and they're being a discount version of themselves. Help us out. How do we get out of that discount version?
Yeah, many times we're just one person away from a new season in our life.
Okay.
One affirmation, one statement. See, I always define leadership as affirming and validating the worth and potential in another person in so clear a way they begin to see it in their own self. You're affirming. See, I see. So I would say something to that person like, man, I see something in you. I see potential is just kinetic energy that is stored until utilized. It's an idea of embryonic growth. That says we'll get better today, be better today than we were yesterday. We'll be better tomorrow than we are today. Well, so many people, when you look at confidence, that's the memory of success.
Yes.
Okay. So many people have the memory of failure. They remember that failure, right? And so as a coach, what I do is I affirm and validate a person. I say, man, I see something in you that you don't see in yourself. Just make this one
So help
tweak.
us with that again. You affirm and you validate. Because a lot of
Right.
people at their job that are watching, no one's affirming them, no one's validating them. But why is that so important?
Because most people struggle with confidence. See, when I was a high school basketball coach, I thought this was unique to children.
Yeah.
See, a confident child will try anything. An insecure child will try nothing. And so I wrote on a napkin one day after practice, man, confidence is the one thing that affects everything. And so I began to study that confidence. It's the memory of success. It's an internal knowing you can create or manifest. Confidence is a memory of something, right? So what I have to do is remind people, okay, the valedictorian in my high school class got a divorce when he was 28 years old. He was voted most likely to succeed.
Okay.
I was voted Prince of Personality. He was the valedictorian. I finished 8th. He dated the prettiest girl in school. He had a wealthy background. His dad was a judge and attorney. His whole family were judges. And he called me one night at 28 years old, and his confidence was low. And his kids weren't listening to him. His wife was divorcing him. He was unhappy with his job. And I listened to him for a few minutes. He said, man, I need some guidance. I need some help. And as I listened to him, I said, man, what you need is to get your swag back.
Love it.
I said, let me remind you of something. You were voted most likely to be successful in high school. You were the captain of the football team. You dated the prettiest girl. You were the smartest kid in school. Every kid wanted to be you, man. And you have allowed your wife to take away all your confidence, your kids to take away all of your confidence, your boss to take away all of your confidence. It's time that you get your swag back.
Boom.
Okay? And that's what I said to him. And listen, you know what he said? He's like, you're right. It's exactly what it is. I got to get my swag back. And I called the publisher that night when I wrote the book, because the original title of my book was called A Course in Confidence or something.
Yeah.
And I called that night and I said, I got to change the title to swag, because that's what people need to get back. They need to get their swag back. And the way you get your swag back is to get off the bench and get in the game, to work the muscle, to take the rep, to show up, to get a coach, to stay in a rhythm, to reactivate the prey drive. You know, I think you and I have talked about, TD Jakes talks about life happening in a rhythm. Your
Yes.
heart beats in a rhythm. When you get yourself into troubles, when you get out of rhythm, man. And sometimes you need another person to say, hey, man, what's going on with you? You lost your swag. It's time to get it back. And I think that's what a good coach can do for people. I'm sure that's what you've done for a lot of people in your day, is they're confident people that let life knock the shout out of them, and you've helped them regain their swag. I mean, and how valuable is that to get that back, something that was lost?
Okay. I'm loving this tonight on this Father's Day night.
Yep.
You're so good. All right. So tell us best way to follow you. We're going to put all that up, but best way to follow you, best way to coach with you. Got a lot of companies watching. Best way to hire you to help their companies.
Go to coachburt.com. And let me tell you why. 4 or 5 of my top books right now are free. Swag is free. Person of Interest, Single Digit Millionaire, Inside the Mind of a Monster. All of those books right now are free. You pay the shipping. I typically do a strategy session. One of the things I do that I don't know if it's cool or not, but I typically call people that buy my books. It freaks them out sometimes. I'm like, hey,
He
this is
really
Coach
does,
Burt.
you guys. He does.
I'm like, this is Coach Burt. They're like, what? Like Coach Burt? I'm like, yeah, man. I want to thank you for buying my book, but I do you one better. I'll do a strategy session with you where we just talk 15 minutes about how to bring that book to life in your own life. And but that'd be a great place to go. Hundreds of hours of videos on YouTube. I know a lot of people get to know me there on YouTube. And what I'd really encourage you is come see Tim Storey and Sharon Lecter and I. Sharon Lecter and I are having a dinner this Saturday night in Scottsdale. I'll be in Scottsdale speaking. You introduced me to her. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And she's become a good friend and good mentor, just like you've been. And so I really encourage you, man. That day is going to be so dynamic. I hate that we got to wait till August to do it because it's going to be an incredible day.
The Coach Michael Burt.
Thank you.
Man, I love you.
Love you too, man.
It's just your time. It's just your time. It is your time. When I first saw you on the Grant Cardone stage speaking to thousands and thousands of people, over 10,000 people, I just said, holy schmoly, this man has got a revelation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a privilege to be part of your family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like an uncle to your kids.
Yes.
I really appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Love you. And thank you for your belief in me. It means the world to me. God bless you.
Happy Father's Day.
Absolutely.
That is
You too, buddy.
Coach Burt, Coach Michael Burt. Great information on pray, drive, and not staying in a place of being mediocre. Just beautiful things today. I want to just tell you a little bit about our sponsors. One of the sponsors is from Team 15. It is my good friend, Cherise Saylor. She's a managing director. Detroit Has a Heart. All her information is there. And I want to tell you, she gave a lot of money to help us to sponsor Tim Storey Live. And she just said, I believe in people and I want to give to help other people. So that says a lot. So Cherise is a life coach. She writes books. You can coach with her. We're going to put all the information there, okay? Also, I want to thank America's Rehab Campuses, ARC, in which I am part of the team. I am the comeback coach to America's Rehab Campuses. If you're struggling with addiction or know someone else who's struggling with addiction, my good friend Mike Ziprich is the president and founder, and that is in Tucson, Arizona. It is a over 100-bed facility in Tucson. And you say, why go to the desert? Good things happen in the desert. You need to get away. So that's America's Rehab Campuses. Guys, thanks for helping to sponsor this. You can call today. All the information is right there, okay? So I'd like to thank Cherise Saylor and also America's Rehab Campuses. If you would like to be a sponsor for this, all you have to do is just reach out to me and DM me on my Instagram, Tim Storey Official, and we will talk about your brand. Wow, this time went by fast. We are helping people on purpose. Don't forget, you can join the World Shakers Network. That's tomorrow night. It's only $19 a month. $19 a month, you get to talk to me every single Monday with a whole plethora of World Shakers. We're doing it in the US and overseas, World Shakers Network International. Also, you can get this hat, WS World Shaker. Boom, 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 boom. It says World Shaker right there. We should do that. And then we should easily, no doubt about it, we'll sell 100 of these. It's usually $499. We're making it $49. Sponsor somebody else's comeback. You've been watching Tim Storey Live. It is a great Sunday night. It is Father's Day. And so here's what I want to tell you. Today's decisions are tomorrow's realities. Do not give up on yourself or your dream. God is on your side and life is still good.